After breaking up with his unattainable love, the Kyoto University professor married me on a whim. For 3 years after our marriage, he was considerate in every way. He remembered every anniversary, preparing surprises with great care. He would also wash his hands to make soup, picking me up from work at sunset. But all of those 3 years couldn't compare to her single sentence. Zhou Hanjing, I'm back. I had never seen such an emotional look on Zhou Hanjing's face. In that instant, I understood. I don't want love that isn't unique. When I got home from work, the house was unusually dark. I clearly remembered Zhou Hanjing's class schedule. He had no classes tonight. I turned on the light, but there was no message on the small blackboard by the door. Everything in the house was the same as when I left in the morning. The last message on my phone was from Zhou Hanjing yesterday, reminding me to wear a jacket because it was cold. Did something happen? Zhou Hanjing and I had agreed to let each other know if anything happened. I called Zhou Hanjing 3 times in a row, but no one answered. This had never happened before. I felt a sense of panic for no reason, and I was worried that something had happened to Zhou Hanjing. I called Zhou Hanjing's colleague, who said that Zhou Hanjing left after class in the afternoon. After hanging up the phone, I didn't know what to do for a moment. I accidentally opened Moments and found that Zhou Hanjing's friend Qin Jun had posted a moment. The caption read, "Long-awaited reunion." In the photo were 3 people. Zhou Hanjing was standing very close to another girl, holding a glass of wine, and his smiling eyes showed that he was in a good mood. Zhou Hanjing's colleague sent a message worriedly, asking if something had happened. I suppressed the strangeness in my heart and lied. "It's okay." Zhou Hanjing called me back. Then, in the comments section of that moment, I typed word by word, "Please ask Zhou Hanjing to return my message." When I refreshed the page, Qin Jun's moment had disappeared. Zhou Hanjing called me back quickly. "Gigi." My phone was on silent. "I'm sorry. I didn't want to hear him finish, so I interrupted him. Do we need a divorce?" Zhou Hanjing. There was silence on the other end, and I pressed the hang-up button. I knew the girl in the photo. Her name was Qin Mi. She was said to be Zhou Hanjing's unattainable love. The two were in a good relationship for 4 years in college. Originally, the two had agreed to get married after graduation, but the woman insisted on studying abroad for her career. They broke up because of this, and Zhou Hanjing accepted a blind date and married me on a whim. Zhou Hanjing told me about Qin Mi. He told me about his past with his ex-girlfriend clearly. He was very honest, which was one of the reasons why I decided to marry him. But after seeing the photo, I realized that Zhou Hanjing's indifferent appearance at the beginning might have just been a disguise. When we first got married, there was no lack of gossip. Everyone knew that the person Zhou Hanjing wanted to marry the most for 4 years was named Qin Mi. They speculated in private that even if he married Tang Jiji would have to give way when Qin Mi came back. But even though it was a blind date marriage, Zhou Hanjing gave me enough respect. A grand wedding, inviting many guests, and in front of everyone he said, "Tang Jiji is Zhou Hanjing's only wife." Although the days after marriage were ordinary, they were still happy. He would prepare my lunchbox in advance because I said the takeout near the studio was not good. He would also adjust his classes temporarily to bring me a jacket to keep warm when the weather suddenly dropped. After marriage, I observed my husband at all times to see if he was worth having a child with me. For 3 whole years, he did very well. I thought he had forgotten his unattainable love and began to look forward to having a child. But looking at Zhou Hanjing's smiling eyes in the photo was a bit dazzling. Zhou Hanjing came back quickly. In October, he was covered in sweat from running. "Gigi, listen to me." Zhou Hanjing said that he forgot to turn the sound back on after his phone was on silent during class. And Qin Jun didn't say that Qin Mi was also there when he asked him to go to the party. Zhou Hanjing held my hand. I was wrong about this. But let's not talk about divorce easily. Okay. We've been married for 3 years. Gigi, you have to trust me. Zhou Hanjing was right. We've been married for 3 years. And I can't condemn him to death based on just one photo. Life went back to the way it was before. It was as if Qin Mi had never appeared. Zhou Hanjing would order my favorite flowers in advance and have them delivered to my home. He would also hold me on the sofa after dinner and discuss interesting things that happened in his class. I have seen him treat me with undivided attention. So naturally, I easily noticed his occasional absent-mindedness. He would subconsciously tilt his phone screen when replying to messages to make sure I couldn't see it. I was clearly in his arms. But I felt like he was shrouded in a barrier that I couldn't enter. Suddenly, he put away his phone. There's no fruit at home. I'll go out and buy some. Zhou Hanjing went out very quickly. So quickly that I didn't have time to tell him that there was a lot of fruit in the refrigerator. I suddenly had a bit of a mischievous thought. Maybe I could time it. I glanced at the time. 22:32. How long will Zhou Hanjing be gone? Half an hour? 2 hours? Or all night? If he doesn't come back all night, what will be the reason? What I didn't expect was that Zhou Hanjing came back faster than I thought. He bought a bag of bulk apples that he usually said were not good. That was a very small fruit store. And the apples there were crisp and popular with students. But Zhou Hanjing didn't like them. He said he would rather not eat fruit than buy these apples. He acted flawlessly, as if he really just went out to buy fruit. I didn't miss the moment when he opened the refrigerator and saw the full fruit. His back stiffened for a moment. Then I watched him try to cover it up by putting the apples he bought on the inside. After doing all this, Zhou Hanjing calmly told me that he was going back to the study to prepare for his class. That night, Zhou Hanjing did not return to the master bedroom. I lay in bed, letting my thoughts wander. If we were to get divorced, how would the assets be divided? What explanations would we give our parents? I woke up this morning to find no bento box prepared for me. As there usually was, he left a message on the small blackboard by the door. Something urgent came up at school. Gotta run. I stared blankly at those words, lost in thought. We live in faculty housing provided by the school. Less than a 15-minute walk to Zhou Hanjing's classroom building. It's not even 7 a.m. now. And his first class starts at 8. No classes. No meetings. No activities. What could be so urgent? I decided not to dwell on it. Instead, I wondered, what if it's true? When I arrived at the studio, the girl who works part-time every week looked at me hesitantly. What's wrong? I asked her. Did something happen? This girl is named Zhang Yu. A student Zhou Hanjing helped me find for part-time work, and also one of his students. She usually helps with some trivial matters. Organizing files. Maybe she's worried about being scolded for doing something wrong. I adjusted my expression, intending to reassure her. It's okay to make mistakes, as long as you fix them or make amends in time. Unexpectedly, I thought of Zhou Hanjing. If he made a mistake in our marriage, could it be fixed by making amends? Sister Xi, have you seen the school forum? Zhang Yu asked cautiously. I snapped back to reality and replied, no, I haven't. I came straight to the studio this morning. And I don't usually check it. Only when I'm really bored do I check out the bizarre gossip and cynical rants of the younger generation. After reading them, I marvel at the diversity of life, thinking there's nothing you can't imagine and nothing someone won't do. Zhang Yu hesitated. Do you want to take a look? I mean, hiss. Don't get too angry if you see it. Zhang Yu's behavior made me have a bad feeling. What could be on the forum that's related to me? It must be about Zhou Hanjing. Zhang Yu finally unlocked her phone and handed it to me. She didn't forget to remind me. Sister, don't get too worked up. The forum's homepage featured a photo of Zhou Hanjing and Qinmi embracing under a banyan tree. Even though I had mentally prepared myself, I still couldn't help but feel a suffocating sensation the moment I saw it. It felt like my entire chest was covered with a plastic bag, making it difficult and painful to breathe. That banyan tree is located in a very secluded spot, where people rarely go. Zhou Hanjing knew this, which is why he was so brazen in being intimate with Qinmi there. But he didn't expect to be photographed and posted on the forum. Zhang Yu looked at my expression anxiously. "Sister Xi, are you okay?" I nodded and continued reading. The poster was anonymous, and the accompanying text was even more sensational, with an eye-catching title, "Eyewitness Account. Professor Zhou Hanjing cheating on his wife." This post had a lot of discussion, with hundreds of comments below. Some questioned the authenticity of the matter. Wake up, people. Are you saying that just hugging someone means cheating? Seriously, are there still feudal remnants spreading the idea that hugging equals cheating? Let's all move on. I hugged my advisor when I won an award last year. Some couldn't tolerate any infidelity. Just the thought of his wife at home while he's hugging another woman downstairs makes me sick. Hugs between teachers and students are just for courtesy. Who hugs so closely? I agree with the person above. Hugging so tightly. Who would believe there's nothing going on? Just so you know, you don't have to catch someone in bed to consider it cheating. There were also those who were just watching the fun. I have to say, the photo has a great vibe. Does the poster accept follow-up shoots? Zhang's secretary. I need all the information on this woman in 3 minutes. Everyone, please keep me updated. I like things to be intense. The comments section was a chaotic mess. Zhou Hanjing didn't give me any information. Someone unexpected came to the studio to find me. Qin Jun greeted me. "I'm sorry about last time. I had too much to drink and didn't think before posting it." I rarely see Qin Jun. He's Zhou Hanjing's friend and also Qinmi's cousin. I remember that he didn't give me a good look the first time we met. He didn't say anything mean, but he was sarcastic from time to time during a group gathering. Everyone knew who he was being sarcastic to, but he didn't say it explicitly, so I couldn't argue with him. And the others could only try to smooth things over with a laugh. The atmosphere was as uncomfortable as swallowing a fly. Later, Zhou Hanjing couldn't stand it anymore and took him out for a private chat. I don't know what they talked about, but when they came back, they were like best buddies. Since then, Qin Jun treated me like air, and Zhou Hanjing didn't make him apologize to me. So, the matter was dropped. We haven't had much contact since then, and I can't guess why he's here to find me. You're here just to apologize to me. Qin Jun nodded. As a token of my apology, let me treat you to a meal. I thought of the message Zhou Hanjing sent me earlier, saying that he was having dinner with colleagues tonight and that I should eat on my own and not wait for him. With just that one sentence, it was as if he didn't know about the forum post. I was suspicious. Qin Jun took me to a popular internet-famous restaurant with good reviews. After ordering, Qin Jun and I stared at each other without a word. I picked up my phone. "Mr. Qin, do you mind if I inform my family?" Qin Jun nodded indifferently. I made a video call, and Qin Jun's expression changed. "You're making a video call?" I nodded, and Qin Jun immediately got up and reached across the table to take my phone. But Zhou Hanjing hung up the video call one step ahead of him. Qin Jun breathed a sigh of relief, met my gaze, and explained unnaturally, "I just wanted to say hello to Hanjing. I was just a little too eager." He took 2 gulps of water and asked dryly, Didn't scare you, did I?" I ignored Qin Jun. My phone popped up with 2 messages. Zhou Hanjing. "It's not convenient to video call during the colleagues' dinner. Gigi. Is there something wrong?" Zhou Hanjing's colleague. "The gathering is set for the end of the month. Did Lao Zhou get the time wrong?" A sense of helplessness suddenly arose in my heart. I asked Qin Jun, "Are Zhou Hanjing and your sister dating?" Qin Jun retorted decisively, "No way." Watching him pretend to be busy clearing the dishes, the answer was self-evident. "Were you sent to watch me? Afraid I'd find out?" I raised my glass and clinked it against Qin Jun's. "Thanks for going to so much trouble to help your sister date a married man. You're a good brother." I drained the glass of grape juice and left Qin Jun behind. Qin Jun hurriedly chased after me. "It's not what you think. They're just catching up. And they were afraid you'd misunderstand." I found it ridiculous. If they were afraid I'd misunderstand, they shouldn't be catching up alone. I emphasized the word alone. Qin Jun said as he chased, "Yes, you two are married. But they also had 4 years of history. It's just catching up. You don't need to make such a big deal out of it, right? If it's just catching up, they can do it openly. The two of them are meeting secretly, and they even arranged for you to keep me occupied. Is it really just catching up?" I scoffed. "Maybe you're the only one who believes that." Qin Jun felt somewhat ashamed. He shouldn't have agreed when his cousin begged him to do this. If this had been kept a secret, everything would have been fine. Now that it's been exposed, he can only try to salvage the situation. I assure you that it's not what you think. And it really was unethical of me. They are innocent. Can't you be so cynical? I apologize to you. Can you just pretend you don't know anything? I rolled my eyes. Do you know what you look like right now? Like a madam in a brothel who insists on explaining that the prostitute and the client have a purely innocent transaction. It's disgusting. Disgusted by the combo from Zhou Hanjing and his crew, I went straight to my cousin's divorce law firm. "Cousin, draft a divorce agreement for me." My cousin looked bewildered. "Why suddenly a divorce?" I ignored him and called my cousin's wife. "Cousin's wife. I'm coming over to have my cousin draft a divorce agreement. He'll be home later." My cousin's wife runs a private hospital, and she knows all about my situation. "What about the baby? Have you thought it through?" I replied. "I have." "Okay. Tell your cousin to hurry up so he can make it home for dinner." "Okay." Since his wife had spoken, my cousin could only do as he was told, even if he didn't understand. I glared at him, and he didn't dare to ask any questions. Taking the agreement home, Zhou Hanjing had already prepared a table full of food. He casually invited me to eat, as if nothing had happened. I looked at him from across the living room, wondering how he could act so nonchalant. Did he think that if he didn't mention it, it meant I didn't know or care? I handed the divorce agreement to Zhou Hanjing. "Let's get a divorce." Zhou Hanjing looked a little flustered. "Gee, didn't you promise me not to mention divorce so casually anymore?" "I'm not mentioning it casually." When Zhou Hanjing didn't take it, I put the divorce agreement on the table. "Do you want to explain? Explain your eagerness to see your ex the moment she returned to the country. Explain why you went out in the middle of the night to hug your ex. Explain why you used a colleague gathering as an excuse to actually go on a date with your ex and even arranged for a friend to watch me." Zhou Hanjing took a deep breath. "How did you know?" Gee, believe me, I was just afraid you'd misunderstand. That's why I kept it from you." He looked very serious, his tone sincere. "There's really no possibility between her and me. I know I'm married, and I haven't done anything out of line. You're bringing up divorce just because I met her. Actually, there's no need to be so petty, and you don't even have the most basic trust in me, which is an insult to our marriage." I didn't expect that after saying all this, I wouldn't get an explanation but instead be blamed for being petty. I re-examined my husband of 3 years, and today he truly gave me a fresh perspective. If there's really nothing between you two, why are you afraid I'll misunderstand? Are you saying that anything short of sleeping together doesn't count as going too far? Zhou Hanjing, Why do you think I'd allow you to waver between marriage and another woman? Zhou Hanjing naturally couldn't answer and looked embarrassed. He acted like he couldn't reason with me and stood up in anger. Think whatever you want. I won't admit to things I haven't done. Zhou Hanjing slammed the door so hard the house shook. I suddenly remembered a saying online. A man won't admit to cheating unless he's caught in bed. He wants the red flag at home to stay standing while also having colorful flags fluttering outside. Zhou Hanjing can dream about it, but I won't give him the chance. Originally, I didn't plan to pay attention to the provocative text from the unknown number, but for the sake of a smooth divorce, going once wouldn't hurt. Qin Mi had arranged to meet at the coffee shop near her and Zhou Hanjing's university. This was the first time I saw Qin Mi. And she certainly had what it takes to be unforgettable. Just sitting there, she attracted the attention of many young men. You're here. Have a seat. Qin Mi's tone was as familiar as if we were old friends. Sorry for suddenly asking you out. She ordered me a coffee and scanned me from head to toe. I just wanted to see what kind of woman Ah Jing married. She smiled, but her tone was cold. You look quite ordinary. Deep down, I didn't want to play this female competition game with her, but for the sake of the divorce, I had to act. I nodded and asked with feigned doubt. Really? Then why would Zhou Hanjing rather marry an average woman than marry you? Is it really because you went abroad to study? Zhou Hanjing isn't someone who can't afford a plane ticket. I've always been skeptical about this. Would two people who truly love each other break up decisively because of 4 years of being in different places? Qin Mi picked up her coffee to hide her emotions. You don't understand our situation. She quickly composed herself and began to speak on her own. You probably don't know, but this is my and Ajing's favorite dating spot. All of our mutual friends know how good our 4-year relationship was. You must have heard about it too. I heard that when you got married. There were even rumors that Ajing's true love was me. I hope it didn't affect your mood while waiting to get married. Qin Mi held her coffee elegantly, with an indescribable air of superiority. I suspected that Qin Mi's brain had become dull from being abroad. And I didn't want to continue listening. I found the marriage certificate I had posted on WeChat moments before, enlarged it, and showed it to her. What you're talking about is all in the past. What I have now is something that exists in the present and is legal. Of course. You can continue to associate with Zhou Hanjing and be a misnumber. A mistress. Qin Mi gritted her teeth. The one who isn't loved is the mistress. Anyone who says such a thing must be a mistress who is very good at comforting herself. Do you know? From the first day you came back, I asked Zhou Hanjing if he wanted a divorce. He didn't agree. He desperately tried to keep me. Tell me, why is that? After saying that, I ignored Qin Mi's increasingly pale face, leaving behind a mocking laugh. I dropped Qin Mi and turned to leave. Behind me, I heard the sound of ceramic breaking and the exclamations of the waiter. I found out about the forum things from Zhang Yu's message, and it had already blown up. Even the school noticed. And Zhou Hanjing was called to the office in the afternoon. His classes were cancelled. Zhang Yu asked me excitedly if I needed her to make a PPT for me. Of course. I knew about the famous PPT incident and jokingly rejected Zhang Yu. I want a divorce. That's right. But I never thought about ruining Zhou Hanjing's career. Zhou Hanjing was forced to take a leave of absence. The school arranged for him to be suspended without pay until the situation subsided. I understand the school's approach. In this information age, the school will be dragged into the limelight by this kind of scandalous news if it is not careful. This is not what the school wants to see. Zhou Hanjing came to my studio with a lunch box. Gigi, can you come forward and help me clarify things? That's not called clarification. That's called lying in public. You two caused the consequences. How can you have the nerve to ask the victim to lie for you? Zhou Hanjing was choked by my words and frowned. You're still dwelling on what happened before. Don't be so willful. GG. This matter is very important to me. I nodded. I can help you clarify. As long as you sign the divorce agreement. Zhou Hanjing seemed to suddenly lose his strength. You're still thinking about divorce at a time like this. The disappointment in his eyes was so sincere. Whether you believe it or not. GG. I love you. Divorce is impossible. After saying that, Zhou Hanjing left. Leaving the lunchbox on the table, I opened it and saw that the taste of this ginger chicken was exactly the same as the one from the store on the back street of the school. It was hard for Zhou Hanjing to bring it here specially. In fact, this store can deliver to the studio for a little extra money. Zhou Hanjing posted several group photos of him, Qin Jun, and Qin Mi on the forum. He admitted that the girl in the photo was Qin Mi, and that the hug was just an impulsive act upon seeing a college friend after 4 years. Even if some people were doubtful, more people's attention had already shifted, and the heat slowly subsided. The school still arranged for Zhou Hanjing to be suspended with pay, hoping that he would handle his personal situation well. If this kind of thing happens again, he will be deprived of his eligibility for awards and honors at best, and expelled at worst. Zhou Hanjing didn't seem to take it seriously. Not sure if the forum incident gave him confidence. For several days in a row, he was openly out and about with Qin Mi and her brother. It seemed that as long as Qin Jun was present, all of his and Qin Mi's behavior could only be defined as friendship. He and Qin Mi went to the beach and smiled at each other at sunrise. He took Qin Mi to climb Qianfeng Mountain, holding her hand as they walked up, not forgetting to turn around and wipe her sweat with his sleeve. They also went camping by the creek, barbecuing by the tent. Qin Mi held up a skewer of meat and fed it to Zhou Hanjing. These videos came from Qin Jun's WeChat moments. Qin Jun was a qualified tool, not only staying by Zhou Hanjing and Qin Mi's side as a shining light bulb, but also dutifully sending friends to show me on time. I saved them one by one, when necessary. These are my bargaining chips for divorce. After a few more days, Zhou Hanjing returned to school to work. I timed his class and sent him all the saved videos. Zhang Yu chatted with me. Teacher Zhou's face looked terrible when he saw something. I smiled. Zhou Hanjing had been avoiding me since that day. I couldn't find him, so I would let him come find me. It didn't take long for Zhou Hanjing to come straight to the studio to find me after class. As soon as he came in, he questioned me heated. How did you get those videos? How can you be so sinister? You've gone to any length for divorce. I looked at Zhou Hanjing's angry look and didn't understand what he was angry about. Was he angry that I was threatening him with divorce? Or was he worried that these videos would affect his career? I opened the video on my phone for him to watch. It was a screen recording of Qin Jun's WeChat moments that I had made in advance. I also thoughtfully clicked on the videos posted by Qin Jun one by one in the screen recording. Zhou Hanjing dropped his phone in despair. He had never seen Qin Jun post these videos, but now he knew what was going on. He seemed to want to win back a point. Then why did you say those things to Qin Mi? Do you know that she cried very sadly because of your words? Seeing Zhou Hanjing's angry look, I knew Qin Mi must have made a scene with him. I chuckled. What do I care if she's sad? What did I say that wasn't true? Zhou Hanjing, you can't just abandon the facts and talk about feelings just because Qin Mi sheds a tear, right? He opened his mouth but couldn't say a word to refute. Zhou Hanjing lowered his head, his voice soft. You really want a divorce? Of course. I looked at him. You keep saying you don't. But don't you know in your heart? Zhou Hanjing was silent for a long time, and I saw a tear fall, fleeting. In the end, he signed the agreement and said as he turned to leave, GG. I love you. It disgusted me. If this scene were put online, some enthusiastic netizens would definitely sarcastically comment, he just accidentally fell in love with 2 women at the same time. What's wrong with him? Because of Zhou Hanjing's cooperation, I successfully got the divorce certificate a month later. During this time, I found a new house and a new address for the studio. The old address had no advantages other than being close to Zhou Hanjing's school. In the first week of moving to the city center, I landed several big orders. Zhang Yu praised me for choosing a good location that brought wealth. Zhou Hanjing often sent me messages, all with affectionate concern, some even with ambiguous flirting. I didn't reply to any of them, and instead forwarded them to my sister-in-law to laugh at. My sister-in-law scoffed. This man is just eating from the bowl and looking at the pot, whether it's his ex or his ex-wife. I remembered that I still had a lot of things at Zhou Hanjing's place and had to move them out quickly. Otherwise, when the weather warmed up, the pregnancy bump hidden by the down jacket would be impossible to hide. Luckily, I'm thin, and my 6-month-old belly is basically invisible under the baggy down jacket. I contacted the college student moving team introduced by Zhang Yu, timed it to coincide with Zhou Hanjing's off-work time, and brought a group of youngsters to guard his door. Zhou Hanjing was a little surprised and a little delighted to see me, and ignoring Qin Mi, who was wearing high heels beside him, he strode over. Gigi, are you here to see me? No. My things are still here. I'm here to move them away. Qin Mi hurriedly stepped forward, took Zhou Hanjing's arm, and leaned against him. Her whole body exuded happiness and sweetness. I'm sorry, Miss Tang. Hanjing was afraid I'd be an eyesore, so he packed up your things and put them in the storage room. I nodded. It's okay. I led the youngsters into the door, gave them the list I had prepared in advance, and told them they had to check it carefully. Qin Mi's face flashed with a trace of unease when she saw me take out the list. Miss Tang. Hanjing packed those things. Do you really not trust him that much? Zhou Hanjing frowned after hearing this. Gigi. I waved my hand. It's not about trust. It's better to count it clearly in person, so we don't have to argue later. I called the team leader. There are quilts on top of the cabinet over there. Remember to take them away. Pack the 2 quilts in the master bedroom and guest bedroom separately. The quilts at home were all wedding quilts that I brought as dowry, and my family specially found the best craftsmen to make them. The thought that Qin Mi and Zhou Hanjing might have shared these 2 quilts made me not want them anymore. But not wanting them doesn't mean I want to give them to them cheaply. Sending them to an animal rescue center would be more valuable than leaving them here. The weather hasn't warmed up yet, and Zhou Hanjing will have to go out and buy a quilt in the cold wind tonight. It's funny to think about, Qin Mi hissed and said in a contemptuous tone. She can't even bear to part with a quilt. I asked in confusion. Does Miss Qin have to sleep with the wedding quilt of her current partner's ex-wife to be able to sleep? Realizing that she was sleeping with Tang Ji's wedding quilt, Qin Mi also felt a little awkward. Qin Mi stubbornly said, "Who cares?" The youngsters counted quickly and handed over the list. Sister. The ones marked in red are missing. I took it and looked at it. Most of them were jewelry, the 3 gold pieces from the wedding, and the ones I bought in recent years, as well as some that Zhou Hanjing gave me, a total of about 300,000 yuan worth of jewelry. And now nearly half is missing. How could they be missing? Zhou Hanjing said in a displeased tone. He packed the things, and he questioned my trust in him, and now the loss of things is a slap in his face. I handed him the list. I don't want the ones you bought, but I have to take the rest. In front of so many people, Zhou Hanjing couldn't save face, and his expression became a bit gloomy. He went up and checked it again, and the jewelry was indeed missing. Qin Mi's face didn't look good, and she took a few steps back guiltily. The sound of high heels was a bit obvious at this moment, and Zhou Hanjing looked up and saw her dodging eyes. His voice suppressed with anger. Did you take it? How could Qin Mi admit it? I didn't. Zhou Hanjing went to the master bedroom to rummage through the cabinets, and after a while, he came out with a brand new, exquisite jewelry box. I raised my eyebrows. It seems that Qin Mi likes my jewelry very much. Zhou Hanjing's salary can't support my hobby of buying gold jewelry. I earn much more from my own business than he does. When you have money and like to buy, you naturally choose the best and the most expensive. Qin Mi panicked. Hanjing. I didn't know it was her jewelry. Really? I thought you gave it to me. She grabbed Zhou Hanjing's arm and couldn't stop explaining. Who would believe this? Zhou Hanjing had packed it all up, and she found it and hid it herself, and it became Zhou Hanjing gave it to her. Zhou Hanjing kept a straight face and handed the jewelry box to me, and I picked out the jewelry he bought and returned it to him. He didn't accept it, so I turned around and put it on the table. I said I would count it clearly. And keeping these few thin and worthless pieces of jewelry would make it impossible to clear things up. I looked at Qin Mi. Miss Qin, you like other people's husbands, and you also like other people's jewelry. Are you so fond of second-hand goods? I sincerely suggest you open a garbage recycling station. My younger brother is too quick to speak. The one behind me blurted out. Husbands are all about who can snatch them. The junkyard wouldn't recycle something like that. The brother leading the way gently smacked him on the head. Apologizing to Zhou Hanjing and Qin Mi. Sorry. This kid just can't help but tell the truth. I couldn't help but laugh. I like what he says. Love to hear it. Tell me more. After the inventory was done, I left with my brothers, and even gave them a few hundred extra yuan to eat. Zhou Hanjing wanted to chase after me, but Qin Mi grabbed him. Faint arguments could be heard from behind. In the following months, I focused on my pregnancy. Zhang Yu kept giving me real-time updates about Zhou Hanjing and Qin Mi's gossip from school. I heard that since the last incident, Zhou Hanjing had become much colder towards Qin Mi. Qin Mi originally wanted to marry Zhou Hanjing. She finally managed to get Zhou Hanjing to divorce me, but he was still unwilling to marry her. In a fit of anger, she threatened to expose Zhou Hanjing's affair online. Zhou Hanjing was miserable because of Qin Mi's pressure. On the other side, Qin Jun was also putting pressure on him. Zhou Hanjing was in the prime of his career, and he had already been warned by the school once before. He was also afraid that things would escalate and he would lose his job, so he could only grit his teeth and go through the marriage process with Qin Mi. So, have they gotten their marriage certificate now? Zhang Yu replied, no. The scumbag said that getting married right after divorcing you would have a bad impact, so he's dragging his feet. Ever since Zhang Yu found out about my divorce from Zhou Hanjing, she stopped calling him Teacher Zhou and just called him a scumbag. Zhang Yu was so angry that she kept huffing. Sister Xi, do you know? She just found out that the studio moved and came to ask me for the new address. I quickly told Zhang Yu, you must not tell him. If the address is revealed, I'm afraid that not only Zhou Hanjing will come knocking, but also Qin Mi. Zhang Yu quickly assured me, Sister Xi, don't worry. I told him that you went on vacation and the studio's business is suspended. She laughed heartily on the other end of the phone. But I think he thought you were going on vacation because you were heartbroken. He even asked me to tell you that if you need anything, you can contact him for help at any time. Zhang Yu made an extremely exaggerated you sound. Why didn't he do that sooner? I didn't expect to meet Qin Jun at my cousin's law firm. She was very surprised to see me. Why are you here? Her eyes fell on my stomach. You're pregnant. Is it Zhou Hanjing's? I slapped him directly. Not everyone is as shameless as your sister. You. Qin Jun raised his hand, but my cousin grabbed it. Lawyer Song. My sister's emotions fluctuate greatly during pregnancy. I'm sure President Qin won't mind her momentary impulsiveness. Right. After all, you spoke offensively first. Qin Jun was stunned. She's your sister. Lawyer Song. This is all a misunderstanding. I can apologize. This lawsuit is very important, and I hope you can be fair and impartial. Otherwise, it will damage your reputation in the industry. My cousin smiled politely, distantly, and said, I don't need President Qin to teach me how to do things. After Qin Jun left, my cousin turned around and made a phone call. That case of the Qin family. Haha. Money doesn't matter. I'm mainly interested in this case. Okay. I'll take it. My cousin told me that the food industry chain run by the Qin family privately added substandard goods to the food produced in the OEM factory to reduce costs by passing off inferior products as good ones. After being exposed by online media, the Qin family shifted the responsibility to the OEM factory under the pressure of public opinion. Fortunately, the OEM factory retained complete supply records and production workshop monitoring. My cousin won this case easily. Under the pressure of social public opinion, the infighting in the family's business, and the boycott of major OEM factories, the Qin family finally declared bankruptcy. Qin Mi completely lost her greatest support, and Zhou Hanjing dragged his feet even more and refused to marry her. In a fit of anger, she actually exposed Zhou Hanjing's affair online. The impact spread, and the school simply and neatly fired Zhou Hanjing publicly. Qin Mi's identity as a member of the Qin family was also exposed. For a time, food safety affair knowing and being a mistress, multiple layers of superposition. Their three names hung on the hot search for several days. The last time I saw them together was in a photo of a dinner party when Qin Mi first returned to China. Comparing the two, it was a terrible sight. The Qin family faded out of the public eye in disgrace and were said to be borrowing money everywhere to go abroad to avoid the limelight. Zhou Hanjing also wanted to go abroad, but all his money was taken away by Qin Mi, so he could only go back to his hometown in the countryside in disgrace. I moved, changed the address of my studio, and cancelled my phone number in advance. Zhou Hanjing couldn't find me, so he could only send messages to Zhang Yu every day in a self-moved manner, asking her to pass them on to me. It was nothing more than some regrets and pleas for reconciliation. Zhang Yu was so annoyed that she asked me if I wanted to reply. I held my chubby little girl in my arms and leaned over to kiss her. Who cares about him?